Do you mean the playwright?
Do you know him?
I'm a great admirer of his. I've read several of his works in the library. He's a talented young man, though I've heard that he's in a situation which is, how shall I put it, very similar to yours?
My exile is voluntary, but it's a known fact that he was banished for 8 years upon pain of death if he returns.
Watch your step with Nazario, dear Leonardo. Day by day, power and gold are turning the world into a much darker place.
Can you give me a clue?
You must keep an eye on Martin.
The cook?
Do you know another one? A few years ago, I discovered that in reality, he's a sorcerer.
I don't understand you.
A young servant who was standing fairly close to me, but must have thought I'm deaf, told another servant that the monk in charge of the kitchen told his fortune using a deck of tarot cards that had demonic symbols on the cards.
I'm not so sure about that. Do you have proof?
I saw the deck. I know he has that deck of cards. One day I went into the kitchen, played the mad monk, and saw it. He's a sorcerer.
I don't believe it, but I'll definitely look into it. Thank you very much for the information, Brother Arcadio. Your secret is safe with me.
And?
Well, you know Arcadio. He's a senile old man. Very little of what he says makes any sense.
Ah, right.
You seem tired to me.
Of course I'm tired. We didn't sleep a wink all night. But that doesn't seem to bother you one bit.
Yes. The truth is, I feel alert and rather stimulated.
Because you're possessed by those cursed investigations of yours. Why don't we just hand over the whole thing to the Inquisition?
If you knew Nazario like I do, you'd know that's the worst thing we could do. Ah, that's interesting. The envelope is sealed. I'm going to open it. Fine. I've managed to get my clothes soiled with the sealing wax, but this is the letter. Let's read it. To the Most Reverend Father Abbot of San Torquato, for perusal at his convenience. It is with great concern that I turn to you in order to detail the contents of the revelations I recently attained with regard to our brother Egidio, whom you most graciously placed in my service upon the occasion of my last visit to your abbey. Having witnessed the incident provoked by Egidio, it was my intention to follow the teachings of our Lord in all humility, by interceding on his behalf and requesting that he be transferred to Nuestra Senora de la Natividad. Only now do I comprehend the magnitude of my error. Instead of correcting his imperfections at our abbey through penitence, Egidio has worsened the situation further, comporting himself indolently and with little respect towards the authorities. I thus see myself obliged to ask you to re-accept our brother in your house, and to instruct him in complying with the rules of the order in a form you regard as most convenient to you. I am confident that the rod you apply to mete out discipline to him shall be as stalwart as our sacred oaths. Currently at Nuestra Senora de la Natividad, Segundo of Milan, Prior.
Brother Leonardo,
Plenty of work to do?
everything must go on, just as it does each and every day. Those are the abbot's words. Despite that, and I don't know why, Brother Marcello has had me stay down here all morning, and then I had to sweep out this hall as if I were Egidio.
So who benefits from these books then?
I don't rightly know. They benefit me, but I have no access to the library. That is categorically forbidden.
I wanted to ask you for a book.
I'm sorry, but I can't fetch any book from the library.
Why not?
I don't know. Brother Marcello has forbidden me to go up there all morning long.
He must have some reason.
I do, Brother Leonardo. I do.
Fine. Then I'll ask you. I need a book on demonology. Something that deals with...
What?
I realize it's not a common request, but...
Did you say demonology?
You heard correctly.
No one in their right mind would ever dare to request a book like that.
No one?
No one.
Ever?
Martin did once.
And was properly admonished for it. Listen, I went along with the farce about the apprentice copyists because the abbot had asked you to clear up the circumstances surrounding Anselmo's death. But now everything is in the hands of the Holy Inquisition.
Who says that the book I'm requesting has something to do with the mystery at this abbey?
In that case, the answer is simple. The class of literature is unauthorized without special permission from the abbot. I'm sorry, but I cannot do anything more for you.
So Martin is interested in forbidden books.
Right, but that's not what I said. All I said was that he requested a book like that once.
When was that?
I don't know, weeks ago, months. Gottfried was assistant librarian at the time.
Then how did you find out?
In a community this small, certain things are hard to keep quiet.
Do you know why Martin requested the book?
I assume for the same reason as you. Why do you want it?
Oh, out of pure curiosity.
Brother Leonardo, let's move away from these kinds of subjects. They're very dangerous and should not be broached lightly.
Are you familiar with the topic of esoterics?
I haven't always lived inside these walls. Life has led me to some very different places, some of them quite dark.
I'm listening.
As a child, I was apprenticed to a coin minter in my native city, Rotterdam.
And what, pray tell, is so dark about that?
When darkness fell, my master spent his time studying rather unorthodox methods of obtaining gold for the coins.
Alchemy?
It was more like invocating demons.
Oh.
Luckily for me, he didn't need apprentices for that. One night, the Inquisition came, and, well, I had to look for other work.
I see.
That's why I advise you to look for other, less dangerous ways of indulging your inclinations.
Go on with what you're doing. I think I see something. A packet? What's it doing here? Let's see what's inside. Well, look at that. A deck of tarot cards. Why would Martin keep something like that? Deals with a deck of tarot cards. Just having one in your possession is equivalent to heresy. But wait a second. This card seems familiar. It's the pentagram. Hang on. Now that I'm looking at it closely, I see that there are certain differences from the one we saw yesterday. That's Martin. Martin?
Yes?